British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emily Deneen, and here's your news update to 10:30. The Canadian Breast Cancer Society says all provinces and territories should lower the age of breast cancer screening. They wish to lower the age to 40, and as of right now, it's set at 50. The Canadian Task Force on Preventive Health Care will look over this recommendation later in the month. Canadian Cancer Society says the chances of successful treatments are better when the cases are found earlier. 1 in 8 Canadian women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their life. With nicer weather, wildfire season might be starting sooner than expected. The government of British Columbia says that there's 1,600 wildfires per year in the province. As of right now, data from the government shows that there's 2 wildfires that are out of control. These fires are in the northern part of the province. The government expects this number to rise drastically in the upcoming months. Mike Farnworth, the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General, is holding a meeting today. He has invited members of the media to join him in Victoria. The meeting will talk about new initiatives against organized crime. After a nail-biting first game between the Canucks and Oilers, the Canucks took the lead in the third period. The Oilers scored 2 goals in the first period and 2 in the second. The Canucks scored 2 in the second period and 3 in the third. Fans say it was a stressful game, but the Canucks made a good comeback. In the U.S., the number of guns stolen from cars has tripled in the last decade. According to data from the FBI, the number of guns stolen from cars grew every year. The number then peaked in 2020, and so did overall weapon purchases. The director from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives says this trend makes it crucial for Americans to safely secure their firearms. This is now the source of the most stolen guns in the country. Investigators are looking into the Boeing that skidded off an airport runway in Senegal. Rita Foley from the Associated Press explains the aftermath.
10 people were injured. Passenger video shows the aircraft on fire and passengers jumping down the emergency slides as flames shot out from one side of the aircraft. In the background, people can be heard screaming. The transport minister says the Air Senegal flight operated by Transair was on the way to neighboring Mali late Wednesday with 85 people on board. Boeing referred a request for comment to the airlines. This is the third incident involving a Boeing airplane this week. The company's been under a lot of pressure since a door plug blew out of a Boeing 737 MAX during an Alaska Airlines flight in January, leaving a gaping hole in the plane. I'm Rita Foley.
There's been loaves of bread recalled in Japan as the remains of a small animal was found. Customers believe it to be a rat. The Japanese factory stopped production and over 100,000 loaves of bread were recalled. The company apologized, and they are in the process of compensating their customers. Southern Brazil is being hit with massive flooding, which has so far killed over 100 people. Karen Chamas from the Associated Press explains what Brazilians are doing to keep safe.
More than 230,000 people have been displaced, and much of the region has been isolated by floodwaters. Dozens of displaced people have crowded into a warehouse in Porto Alegre for shelter from the floods. 68-year-old Heitor da Silva told the AP, "I only took my documents, 3 shirts, 2 underwear and my flip-flops. All the rest is gone." Climate scientist Alvaro da Silva says climate change is to blame.
This is what happens when we have 1.2 degrees Celsius warmer world than in pre-industrial time.
I'm Karen Chamas.
It's another t-shirt and shorts day with highs of 26 and lows of 10 overnight. Don't forget your sunscreen tomorrow with a high of 27. It's a perfect tanning weather. Saturday is another hot day, so it's time to break out your shorts. That's been your news update to 10:30. I'm Emily Deneen for BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, I'm Sophie Hansen, and here are your sports updates to 1040. An unexpected comeback for the Canucks. The Canucks overcame a 3-goal deficit to defeat the Edmonton Oilers 5-4 last night for Game 1 of the second-round playoff series. Connor Garland broke a tie with 5 minutes and 34 seconds left in the third. Dakota Joshua had a goal and 2 assists, winning him the first star. Joshua says his team maintained confidence even after a rough start to the game.
Just the fact we never gave up. That was a tough start for us, but like you said, the patience, the resiliency, and to stick with it paid off tonight.
Game 2 is tomorrow night in Vancouver at 7 o'clock. In more hockey news, the Toronto Maple Leafs have fired head coach Sheldon Keefe after 5 seasons with the team. Keefe led the Leafs to 5 playoff appearances, but only managed to get past the first round once. General Manager Brad Treliving announced the decision this morning. Treliving said the organization determined a new voice was needed to push through to its ultimate goal. Management is expected to address reporters Friday about the coaching change and other end-of-season topics. More hockey news here. Montreal Professional Women's Hockey League team opens the playoff with a best-of-5 semifinal series against Boston tonight at Place Bell in Laval, Quebec. Montreal captain Marie-Phillips Poulet says she's thrilled to have another women's playoff hockey back in Montreal.
Obviously, we're going to use that energy from our fans. It's going to be exciting. We're going to use each other. I think taking the first couple of steps on that ice, just take a look around and just realizing we're in playoff. And obviously, in a season, obviously you have a couple games where you lose and we don't have time here.
The puck drop is today at 4 o'clock. Now on to the soccer field. Former Toronto FC general manager Ali Curtis has earned a promotion as Major League Soccer revamps the leadership of MLS Next, its academy and youth development program. Curtis left his post of Toronto GM and senior vice president of soccer operations in November of 2021. Some 2 weeks later, he was named senior vice president of the competition and operations of MLS Next Pro. This morning, MLS announced that Curtis was being elevated to the newly created role of the league's senior vice president of sporting development. While continuing to manage the sporting side of MLS Next Pro, he has also been tasked with heading MLS's on-field innovation and all areas of MLS Next. Now, onto the hardwood. Jalen Brunson returned from a right foot injury to score 24 of his 29 points in the second half, leading the New York Knicks to a 130-121 victory over the Indiana Pacers for a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Knicks guard Dante DiVincenzo says his team was confident it would win the game despite trailing by 10 at halftime and not knowing if Jalen Brunson would return.
I don't know what we were down at halftime, but we're in the locker room like we're gonna win this game still. We got to do, we got to defend, we got to rebound, limit their second chances, and then play our offense, not get outside of ourselves, and that's exactly what we did.
The series shifts to Indiana for Game 3 this Friday. Tip-off is at 4 o'clock. In more basketball news, Caitlin Clark will make her WNBA home debut with the Indiana Fever tonight. The preseason opener in Dallas had fans hooked as she scored a team-high 21 points. According to AP News, Clark says that playing in front of an arena has become a norm. Tip-off is tonight at 4 o'clock. And some local sports stars are making fans proud. UBC women's soccer star Catalin Tolnay and Alberta men's volleyball captain Isaac Heslinga have been named Canada West Athletes of the Year. Tolnay, a Toronto native, was deemed the best player in the Thunderbirds soccer program, guiding the T-Birds to their 8th national title. Both athletes have been nominated for the Lewis and Doug Mitchell U Sports Athlete of the Year award, and the winners will be announced in Calgary on June 10th. That has been your sports updates to 1040. I'm Sophie Hansen, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.